83 units every single day just to function. I want you to hear that number, 83 units of insulin injected into my body every single day. And I was still exhausted, still frustrated, still watching my numbers swing in ways that made no sense to me, no matter what I did or didn't eat. I'd been managing diabetes for decades. At that point, I thought I knew everything I was doing. I didn't know anything. Felt like my body had become my enemy, like I was in a war I couldn't win, fighting with weapons that were barely keeping me even. What I didn't know, what nobody had told me, was that I was fighting the wrong battle, with the wrong weapons, against the wrong enemy. Then I found whole food, plant-based eating, not as a diet, not as a weight loss plan, as a way of healing. Today, my insulin needs are around 35 units. My energy is through the roof, and I am eating a much higher level of carbohydrates. My doctor, surprised, looks at my labs and says he's shocked. 83 units down to 35? Not because of a new drug, because of food. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what I changed, what I eat in a day, and the science behind why it works. My name is Stephen Michael Smith. I've been living with diabetes for nearly 60 years, and I am more in control of this condition today than I've ever been in my life. Let's talk about how.
What Stephen experienced is not an accident. It is not a miracle. It is the predictable result of removing the root cause of insulin resistance from his diet. The root cause of insulin resistance: fat inside your muscle cells. Here is what was happening inside Stephen's body at 83 units and what is likely happening inside yours right now if your insulin needs are high or your blood sugar is difficult to control. Intramyocellular lipid. Fat from animal products and processed oils accumulates inside muscle cells. This fat physically blocks the receptor sites that insulin needs to move glucose out of the bloodstream and into the cell. The more fat you eat, from meat, dairy, cheese, eggs, added oils, the more that fat accumulates inside your cells. Your insulin has nowhere to go, so your blood sugar stays high. So your doctor increases your dose, so you inject more. More fat equals more cell blockage, equals more insulin needed. Cycle repeats. When you remove dietary fat, when you switch to a whole food plant-based diet with no added oils, that intracellular fat begins to clear. Receptor sites open back up. Insulin can do its job with less. The result? Lower insulin requirements, more stable blood sugar, less variability, more energy. Exactly what Stephen experienced and what the peer-reviewed research documents consistently. This is not unique to Stephen. Studies published in Diabetes Care, the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, and PLOS Medicine have all documented significant reductions in insulin requirements for diabetics who adopt a low-fat, whole-food, plant-based diet. Plant-based eating reduces insulin resistance by up to 60%. The biology does not play favorites. The mechanism works the same way in every body. What Stephen changed, you can change. So what does a day of eating look like when you're following the Dominate Diabetes system? Here is an example of a typical day in Stephen's life. Breakfast. Steel-cut oats, cooked with water, topped with fresh blueberries, sliced banana, and a sprinkle of cinnamon. No milk, no butter, no sugar added. The oats provide slow-burning, resistant starch. The fruit adds fiber, antioxidants, and natural sweetness. The cinnamon supports insulin sensitivity. This breakfast is high in fiber, low in fat, and designed to produce a stable, sustained glucose response. Lunch. Large grain bowl, brown rice or farro base, black beans or lentils, roasted sweet potato, steamed broccoli, salsa or lemon juice as dressing. Every element is working. The beans slow glucose absorption, the sweet potato provides potassium and beta-carotene, the broccoli is anti-inflammatory. No oil, The moisture comes from the salsa or citrus.
Dinner. Red lentil soup or bean-based stew with potatoes, carrots, onions, garlic, tomatoes, and herbs, served with a slice of whole grain bread or corn tortillas. This is the meal that keeps Stephen's overnight blood sugar stable. Lentils have one of the lowest glycemic indices of any food. The combination of fiber, resistant starch, and plant protein creates a slow, steady glucose release through the night. Snacks and fruit. Whole fruit throughout the day. Apples, oranges, mangoes, grapes, watermelon, whatever's in season. Fruit is not a cheat. It is not a treat to be earned. It is food. Eaten whole, with its fiber intact, fruit does not spike blood sugar in the way that decades of misinformation has suggested. For context, the average American eating a standard diet gets approximately 15 grams of fiber per day. Stephen is eating 4 to 5 times that amount. That fiber is the engine that drives everything else.
Stephen did not get to 35 units overnight. The transformation happened in stages, and those stages are consistent across thousands of people who have made this shift. Week 1 to 2, the body begins to clear intracellular fat. Most people notice improved digestion, more consistent energy, and the beginning of blood sugar stabilization within the first 2 weeks. Fasting glucose readings start to trend down. Month 1, insulin requirements begin to decrease. As insulin sensitivity improves, many people find they need less insulin to achieve the same blood sugar result. This must be monitored closely with your doctor. The goal is controlled reduction, not abandonment. Month 2 to 3, energy transformation. Labs begin to shift. The fatigue that is so common in poorly controlled diabetes, driven largely by chronic inflammation and blood sugar volatility, begins to lift. A1C improvements become measurable. Cholesterol often improves significantly as well. Ongoing, a relationship with your body that feels different. This is the part that is hardest to quantify but most consistently reported. People describe feeling like they are finally working with their body instead of against it. That feeling is real. It is biochemical, and it is available to you.
All right, well, I'm not a doctor. I want to be really clear about that. I'm a man who has been living with this disease for nearly 60 years. I'm a man who has spent decades managing it the conventional way and getting the conventional results. I'm a man who found something that changed the trajectory of the disease in my body in a way that nothing else had in all those years. Yeah, 83 units to 35. Exhausted to energized, frustrated to in control. I did not do that with medication. I didn't do it with a special supplement or a complicated program that cost thousands of dollars. I did it with food, whole food, real food, the way humans have eaten for most of human history before we started processing everything and calling it nutrition. The Dominate Diabetes system, in part, is over 30 recipes built on exactly what I showed you today. The whole food, the fiber counts, the reasoning behind every meal is exactly what I eat. It is exactly what worked. If you are tired of managing this disease and getting nowhere, this is the place to start. There's links in the description. Come find me there. I'm Stephen Michael Smith, and if I can get here after 60 years, you can too.